Yo, how's it going, my fellow revelers? I'm your host, Manny, aka Frisky Hug, and this is the Festy Hub podcast. For today's episode, we have someone who it's been a long time calling. Honestly, it's I've wanted to have her on here since like episode one, but I had to make sure it was a good episode. So we have Emma Kapotes joining us this week. I'm super excited to have her. We talk mostly about like EDC camp and our experiences during EDC in general. We go in depth over kind of just a lot of questions that you guys might have, and it's been a pleasure kind of getting this episode done with her. She also has an episode that she's doing with her podcast. It's called Rave Culture Cast. If you are following that yet, go ahead and give it a follow. Everything will be in the description below. But before we get started with today's podcast episode, we are going to be doing our 4 shout outs of the week. So number 1 is our content creators. And for this one, I have Tyson. Tyson is a TikToker. I don't know how many reels he does, but I do know him personally from, now it's personally. I actually met him for the first time at EDC Las Vegas. He came to one of the meetups. It was super amazing getting to like see a lot of these TikTokers, and him being one of them was just super delightful. So his TikTok and Instagram is Tyson Wayne. Both of those will be in the description below. He's an amazing person, funny TikToker. And we're actually going to be seeing each other again at EDC Las Vegas 2022. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I sent him a little message saying, "Hey, I'm going to be there too. Let's go for round 2," because he was such a delight to be around. So now number 2 for the shout out is going to be a DJ or producer. And this one's going to go to my boy Otterz. Otterz is, I believe, a rhythm like dubstep DJ. I'm not sure how long he started ago, but he just started his TikTok a little bit ago. I think he started actually a while ago, but he recently started posting a lot more recently. And he did a live today actually. So I was showering and I was like, "Hey man, like I'm gonna shower with your music on. Just fucking throw me some bangers. Yeah, give me that good." So Otterz, I believe, is on the East Coast. He definitely does a lot of lives and stuff like that. He's played a lot of shows lately. I'm really happy for him. He's a really good dude. Definitely go check him out. Number 3 is going to be a brand or business, and this is going to go to Aqua Zotic. Aqua Zotic it has a lot of females, but surprisingly, I didn't know that they had male clothes. So Aqua Zotic has some pretty dope ass outfits that I plan on wearing at some point. I definitely, I haven't bought anything lately or yet, but I was looking through their stuff and I was like putting little check marks on my thing. Like, okay, these are some of the clothes I want to get for the future. I definitely want to try out some of their men's clothes that they have and see how they fit maybe some of the themes of places I go to. It's a little bit more on the casual, like, I want to say it's like casual matching side. So they got a lot of like matching shorts with shirts and stuff like that. I haven't really checked out the female section, but I'm sure I think it's mostly like a female brand. So they have a lot of female stuff. So once again, that is Aqua Zotic. And I met the owner at EDC Las Vegas. That was so nice. She came up to me. She gave me a little sticker. She was at the Heart Raves Radiate meetup. If you're listening to this, it was great meeting you. And then number 4, we got a supportive friend or supportive follower. And this one's going to go to Grant. So Grant Journeys is his Instagram. He has literally been showing up to like every single meetup, just showing full support. He's a good person, a good friend, and just constantly showing like love and support to like the EDM community content creators. He's always commenting, always sharing, always, always engaging. And on top of that, always showing up. He showed up to like the Lunchbox meetup at like Nocturnal. He showed up to like the Rave Culture Cast meetup at EDC Las Vegas. He showed up to a bunch more meetups as well, but that's just to name a few. So Grant Journeys, this is I actually don't even know your last name. So it's Grant Rogers is his last name. So Grant Rogers, Grant Journeys on Instagram. I'll plug his information down below if you want to go ahead and check him out. Give him some love for showing us some love. It's always great to have people like this in the community. Okay, so those were our 4 shout outs of the week. And dude, I'm telling you, this episode is going to be awesome. So enjoy today's podcast episode.
Hi, I'm honored to be here.
I'm so excited you're here. I've been wanting to get Emma on the podcast for a good minute. When I decided I was going to do this podcast, I'm like, I got to get Emma in here, but it's got to be perfect. It can't just be like, oh, Emma, let's just talk about Emma. It's like, if anyone knows, Emma kind of like, started with like EDC, and we're going to get into how I felt when I saw her in her element. It put the biggest smile on my face. But for those of you that don't know Emma, Emma, if you could just give a quick intro.
Sure. Yeah, no, this is the perfect episode. So thank you for having me. And also excuse my party girl voice, guys. We're still recovering from EDC. Okay. So go easy on me. But yeah, no, I'm a content creator from New Jersey. I'm a huge EDC fan. This is my 6th EDC. But yeah, now full time I create content for fans of dance music and music festivals. So I have like my own channels and platforms that I do, my own podcast. And then now I work with some brands as well. So I'm working for a platform called Gray Area that I project manage. And it's this like hub for house music culture. So I do that. And I kind of combine a whole bunch of things. I do a little bit of social media coaching as well. But yes, now we do this full time, which is exciting.
Oh man, it's like you're one of like my inspirations for why I even started this podcast.
I love it.
I talk about it with Kat Corey in the last podcast, because she's like, well, who are like your inspirations, like content creator wise? And I was like, honestly, Emma and Vibe with 8 are like the big reason why I even started this podcast, because I'm like, if they're doing it, they're saying like it's not impossible. So like I don't know, I feel like I like chicken wings, and I was like, it's time to just do it. And I feel like having you guys as friends, I could just be like, text you guys for advice or whatever. I'm like, okay, like I'm not alone. I'm not going to be like thrown into the wolves here. And like, so
no, you're crushing it too. You're like consistently churning out the episodes. So you're doing great.
I'm really thankful for you guys' friendships and stuff. And I was really fortunate to hang out with you guys both day 0 and day 1 for the most part. Day 2 and day 3, I kind of did like my own thing and stuff, but I feel like I owed my friends, a little bit of hangout time.
It was wild. It was so fun. Yeah. Day 0 got wild.
Let's talk about day 0. Because you actually started day -1. So
yes.
Tell us about like what you guys did day -1.
Sure. Yeah. So for anybody, if you haven't gone to EDC before, I typically do Vegas like Wednesday to Tuesday. Normally this time I did Wednesday to Monday. But I usually stay on the Strip because I love Las Vegas. So since we were doing camping for the first year ever, we were like, let's still go to the Strip on Wednesday. We'll get there early. We'll do a night in Vegas. It'll be really fun. So yeah, I flew into Vegas at like noon on Wednesday, and we stayed at the Aria and just had like a really nice time. We basically just did like dinner and cocktails and stuff like that. But I love Vegas. It was nice to kind of just like have that first night to take it easy, even though I got drunk. I was like hungover on Thursday. I was like, Emma, this is not the point.
Yeah, I saw your snaps, and I was like, dude, she's gonna be like hungover day 0 already.
Right. Yeah. We had too many cocktails.
The Aria, do you always stay at the Aria, or is it like just
no, that was a new one. I try to stay in a different hotel every time I go. For EDC, I did the Luxor like 3 times because they have like a rave pop-up shop. That's a pretty popular one. And I've done the Mirage twice and a couple other ones, but Aria, since we were only staying one night, it's a little nicer of a hotel. So we were like, we'll just do this. Yeah. It honestly was worth the money. It was really nice. So we just did that for one night.
The guy Jim, who was in the movie Under Electric Sky, he stayed in the Aria for the movie. He was originally staying at some like Motel 6 looking hotel or whatever. He told us that like the recording team moved them to the Aria for free because Insomniac has like an agreement with the Aria to like be able to record in the building. So that was pretty good for them. The Aria, I've never stayed there. I was gonna stay at the Strat, if anything. I've done the Strat. Circus is a pretty regular one I do.
Strat's a good one because it's at the end of the Strip too, which is nice. So you're closer to the festival.
Yeah. Do you did you like that you stayed that extra day at the beginning, or do you wish that you like started maybe go? I don't know.
I guess. I mean, so what we did, it was a last minute decision, but it was good. We decided like a week before to order our Walmart order to Wednesday because we were going to do a Thursday morning pickup, never having camped before. And I was like,
Mhm.
guys, I think we're going to be stressed Thursday morning. So let's just order it and do a pickup Wednesday. And that
Good
actually worked
call.
out perfectly because we were not
Seriously.
rushed and there were like 3 different Walmarts to choose from in the area. So I highly recommend that too. So we did an ordered like a bunch of different bedding things. We ordered a wagon, all that, and just went Uber to the Walmart and picked it up. The only thing that sucked, and it might have been because we waited till the last week, was they
Hmm.
were out of a couple items. So they did not have the wagon we ordered. And the wagon's like almost the number one thing you need. And we
Yeah.
never got one, but we
I,
borrowed people. So
I, okay. You're gonna hate me for saying this because maybe you didn't know, but the information booth at the campsite has free wagons for rental for free.
we were saying that the whole time. We were like, they have to have them, right?
I
Oh,
didn't
okay, good to
realize
know.
this. I didn't realize this until I already got to my tent and all our stuff was already there. And I was like, well, it doesn't help us now. I'm like,
Right.
we
Exactly.
I told them we should do two moves. We should go back for our stuff and just carry a little bit. My friends fought me with it, like, no, just do it all at once. We did
Mm-hmm.
it all at once. And I swear to God, I lost like 12 pounds
Yeah.
carrying all that
Great.
stuff there,
Yeah.
because I I fought with my buddy about like how we were going to camp, and we all debated on it, like how are we doing this. One of my buddies was like, "Oh, I'm going to sleep on an air mattress." Okay, cool. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Let me get a cheap air mattress." And I told my buddy like, "Hey, we can get a queen. We can sleep on it together." And he's like, "Yeah, but like, I want to like, I want to sleep comfortably. Can we get like a bougie type air mattress, like a lifted
Mm-hmm.
up?" And I have one already. And I was like, "Oh, I could bring mine." It added to like 75 pounds though. My whole baggage. My bag was 75 pounds, and
Oh my God.
I did space bags for all my things. So like it was all slammed in there. When I'm talking about
Mm.
like a king size fucking blanket, like
Oh,
8
that's smart.
outfits. Yeah, the space bags was the way to go, and I'm pretty glad I did
Okay.
that. And then I did like a manual pump, so I pumped out all the air manually when I was coming back. Um,
Nice.
I do love that I had the air mattress too. It was super comfortable. Like I slept like a king all 4 days, and my other friends were
Nice.
roughing it on the ground. They both decided to sleep on the air mattress, but it deflated every night, so they
Mm-hmm.
ended up sleeping on the floor.
Yep.
Um, I finally let one of them sleep in my bed for the night, and they're like, "Dude, you've been sleeping on this entire time?" I'm
Yeah.
like, I carried the air mattress. It's like a good mile.
Exactly.
Like,
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Let's talk about the camping arrival. That was rough, rougher than I expected, but not, I mean, not horrible in the scheme of things. Like you do that once for the most part. And then when you leave, but compared to taking like shuttles and Ubers back and forth, I would choose that any day. It's just like you literally had to drag your luggage across gravel for a little bit if you didn't have a wagon. And I
mhm,
was like sweating because I had a huge duffel around my body and the luggage. And I was
yep.
like, I'm out of shape.
I was dripping sweat. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't believe this right now. And I decided to not wear like a belt with like pants that are super saggy, and like
Oh
my pants
no.
dropped to like my knees, and I'm like still carrying all these bags, and I'm just like, this is
Yeah.
just my mood was I was, like my mood was
Mm-hmm.
about to get killed, and I just kept remembering, dude, it's gonna be worth it. Today's the day. We got this.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have trouble getting like I don't know. Did you have like trouble understanding where to go and stuff like that? Because I didn't realize that we had to go to the right side to go get our wristbands. I thought they would just give it to us at the beginning and then we head out. Like, how did
Mm.
you guys make the same
Yes.
mistake as us?
So there were, yeah, I know what you're saying. So when we like walked out of the car, there was like an opening in the gate with like 2 security guards, and there were people
Yep.
going through that opening. But we heard one of the security guards, I guess, was answering somebody's question. He was like, go that way if you have to check in. This is for re-entry. So we were like, oh, okay. So then we went to the right. But we were shocked. I mean, I was texting people who were there, like trying to get a feel of how long the lines were, and I was anticipating waiting a while, and we like the process was maybe 20 minutes. There was no line. We like walked right up to the check-in and right through to the security. So that actually went much more smooth than I thought it was going to go.
What time did you guys arrive there?
We probably got there. It was around 12:30, I want to say, on Thursday, around 12:30.
Yeah, because we arrived at 1:30, maybe even
Mm-hmm.
2, because we all like you guys all flew in like a little earlier. All my friends we flew in that day. Like we had just arrived out of the airport and we just got
Got
picked
it.
up and went straight there. And everyone coming from the East Coast, it was a little rough on them, right? So then like
Mm-hmm.
the earliest they could have arrived was 12 p.m., which is then we all arrived. But then we had to like park, get all our stuff. And when I tell you, my friend's car is small, there was like no trunk. So all our stuff like fit like on us. And I'm telling you, I must be getting a lot more resilient. Because that shit would have already threw me out the window. Like I would have been done. Like I couldn't see, and like it was just bad. And I don't know. So I'm claustrophobic, so I cannot be in this like environment. I can't live, love, laugh in these conditions, you know?
Yeah, no, you cannot. I agree with you though. That is definitely something to consider because our friend Ashley Gauthier, who's another YouTuber, she's amazing. She like lovingly, she drove from California and was like offered to pick us up, which was amazing.
Oh, that's not bad.
But she did not tell us she had a Jeep, and the Jeep does not have a trunk. And she had to pick up 4 of us. So I was like, girl, how are you going to do this? And luckily she had like an attachment to the back. I saw that,
and I need to invest in that because that was gold when I saw that on your video. I'm like, oh wow, good job, Ashley.
We did some maneuvering.
When I saw, I don't know if it was you or Eight's video, when I saw you guys like all scrunched up in the back, dude, I literally spit my drink out. I was like, stop.
It was the same as you said, but luckily, like compared to driving on the speedway, like it was the same drive we would do normally, and we were there in 20 minutes. So that just goes to show you what the traffic adds to it, because I've sat in that traffic for an hour and a half before, and it was 20 minutes.
Did you hear about the 10 hours that people like going through the strip cost? I don't know if you saw that. Okay, so day one, the EDC traffic actually cost 10 hours worth of traffic. So if you were going to work that day, you're going to work that day.
Exactly. I saw them send an email because obviously there were some like mishaps. There always is. There's literally always something. But I did see an email that said something about like traffic on one of the highways, and I was like, oh yeah, there's traffic every time.
I saw from Party Perry's Instagram. So how was reception for you? Cell service?
Not good. Not good. That was like the one complaint. Actually, I mean, there were other complaints, but that was one of the biggest complaints. Only because I had to do some work there, and I was like supposed to be posting on behalf of brands, and I did not anticipate not being able to do that. You literally just had to walk around the mesa, and occasionally something would go through, but you never knew.
So I had service between the hours of like 9 a.m. to maybe like 3 p.m. I had really good cell service. And then at the festival, I had on and off cell service. So like I could text and it would come through every once in a while. But like internet wise, I had such good internet. And I think it's because I was Verizon, and they had an actual like Verizon booster at EDC because Verizon was one of the sponsors. And we'll talk more about
in
like
the festival was not that bad, actually. In the festival, it was almost better than it was at the campground.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For me, the campground was better to the point where I actually turned on my hotspot for my friends.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
You should have told me I had like a hotspot or anything. You could have just
I was like, it's fine. We'll post after.
Yeah. And so we get to the campsite and all that stuff, right? And let's talk about the big elephant in the room, the AC.
The freaking AC units, man. I think I had it on my head. I had like the big, like the text letters, like the no AC units on my head. Okay.
That killed me.
I can't wait to hear what you think. All I will say, and I'm sure some people feel similarly, the first day on Thursday, it obviously was like very jarring and upsetting because there was no communication. Like that was a huge slap on the wrist for them. Like they did not communicate. They just quietly made that decision, pulled it off the site, and just didn't tell us, which is fucked up. But I will say throughout the weekend, like the Thursday was the worst. When we first opened the shift pods and went in there, we were like, oh my God, this is going to be fucking horrible. How are we going to do this? So then we opened all the doors, all the windows. And I would say Friday was still a little hot, but by Saturday and Sunday, like we were fine. We slept throughout the day. I took a nap in there throughout the day. You just had to leave everything open. Unfortunately,
Thursday was the worst, and I think it's because they had everything enclosed.
Yeah.
If they had maybe vented it all out before we got there, it would have been a little better. But I spent a lot of time like in my tent. We were hanging out with our friends. We didn't really want to move at the moment, and I was dripping sweat in my tent, and I'm just like, you know, at some point I got to go back. I want to go outside just because it's so hot here. They told me on Reddit because I was like creeping up on Reddit, and they're like, there's no pool, there's no AC, and I was like, okay, hold on, like let's not trust Reddit right now. Those people are just
right.
They're just jealous. They're not there, and I get there, I see a pool. I'm like, see, like, no problem. We get there. I'm like, where's the AC unit? And I'm just like, dude, I'm like, at least. And then I see everybody with like a tarp. I'm like, okay, maybe we get a tarp. We can like connect all our tents together and create a little bit of shade. No tarp, no nothing. I'm like, okay, well, like whatever. Like maybe it won't be so bad, right? My issue is this. I paid for a service that I never received, right? So I was never asking for a full refund, but I am asking for like a partial refund because let's say you buy a car and your car is expected to have windows, doors, a motor, and tires. And they tell you, hey, thank you for your money. Here's your car with no tires. I'm sorry.
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't, that's not what I paid for. And then they told you, okay, well, you could walk your ass home and find another car.
That was unreal. So what Manny's talking about is in the middle of the freaking pre-party. It's 1 a.m. I want to say. We all like get a text on our phone and we check it. And like we were getting these like Camp EDC alerts and like blasts from like a number. And it basically was like, oh, we're sorry, people are upset, blah, blah, blah. Like this is kind of how it is. If you don't like it, like you can get a refund and leave, basically. And it's 1:30 in the morning. We're like, what the fuck? So that was not handled well. Yeah.
I try to laugh about it, and it was okay. It was like not unbearable, but I probably had a little easier than most people because my buddies had RVs and I just spent literally 50% of my time in the RVs. They had full-blown AC and showers there and all, like, so luckily I have amazing friends who were like, oh yeah, come through, spend the entire day here. But I can only imagine people were sleeping outside because it was cooler to sleep outside than inside. You just see all these air mattresses at the shaded canopy, like communal areas, like the little shared areas. Tons of air mattresses just filled, and I'm like, okay,
so
like
crazy. Yeah, it just was interesting because people were calling it like Fire Festival, and in our opinion, in our tent, like we were fine the whole weekend. Like we kept everything open, we slept just fine. It really wasn't that big of a deal. It was hot, like trying to get dressed and ready in the tent, and then we were out of it. So like I still think they 100%, like whoever made that decision to pull the ACs was like a terrible fucking idea. But yeah, no, it wasn't a fire festival. I had a couple of friends be like, I mean, it's a very different thing than Electric Forest because Electric Forest, you bring your own tents, but people were like, I'm used to this anyway. Like it's unbearably hot during the day at Electric Forest. You can't sleep in your tent, but EDC promised AC units.
And if I'm wondering where that money went, right? If you weren't going to give it to us, where did it go? Because I did't see a 24-pack of beers or Gatorades in my tent.
Yeah. To make up for it. Yeah. Or a fan. Give us a fan. Yeah. I mean, or the things on the top, like you said, the tarps, like that was another thing. They didn't have like the colored, like little tops. Cause like we were in the Sapphire section. And if you look at the pictures from the years prior, each section had these like colored tarps. So you knew what section you were in. Like maybe a handful in each section had them, but they didn't do those this year.
What I heard was that they hadn't even finished setting up. So they ran out of time. And I think that's why there was only so many tarps on the tents, because they were probably just trying to get, done with like the regular stuff because, well, let's talk about the water situation, right? So at the campsite, first text I get is there's no water. I'm just like, bro. So we're debating going to the store and grabbing maybe like a 24-pack of water. First of all, we should have gotten water regardless. I don't know why we thought that it was a good idea to just feed off the free water. And then we're like, Pasquale, he'll fix it, right? Like if it's broken, give him a few hours, he'll fix it. Like he's not gonna go the whole weekend like that. So we get there. By the time we get there, it's already like fixed. I'm like, okay, it wasn't a big issue, but people were complaining that there wasn't like enough water, this and this, but like there was free water.
I agree. I think I have I believe me, I'm not making excuses for Insomniac. Like they had mishaps. They have mishaps every fucking year. Like there's always something that goes wrong with every festival. But I think like having more of a perspective now, like working in the festival industry, the only thing I'll say is like, this festival was moved twice. They probably were rushed because they were behind on a couple of things. And that was like very evident. So they definitely were rushed. They came out of a pandemic where they fired like half of their workforce. So like, I try to give a little bit of grace because I'm like, this year was fucked up for everybody. So like, I'm going to let them slide on a couple things, like the water main break on Thursday in the campgrounds. Like everyone was like, you can't use the bathroom or wash your hands. That lasted for like a few hours and then that was over and fixed.
Yeah.
So like to me, I was at the pool party having a great time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like there were a couple things that I was like, all right, as long as you guys fix them and correct it, then we're good to go. But they did have free water on
Yeah.
site, which was
So
good.
I feel like, as long as you had free water, you're taking care of kind of the essential stuff. Yeah, they didn't have
Mhm.
Gatorade, and some places didn't even have soda. And I'm like, okay, I just want something that isn't like, alcoholic. I
Mhm.
spent way too much money on those lemonades, which were amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
If you haven't had those lemonades,
Yeah.
get on it.
Yeah. The
Get on that.
lemonades were good. And they even said that was like another mishap. I don't know if you noticed, like we went to get a lemonade like first thing when we walked in there on Thursday and we tried two different stands and both of them were like, they haven't provided us with water. So we can't make the lemonade. They literally said that. I was like, great. So Thursday really, I don't know if it's like this every year, but for Thursday to me very much felt like they're not ready yet. Like we're here, but they're not ready yet.
Yeah, and maybe it is like that every year. So now I'm gonna take into account,
I'm
like,
gonna see. Yeah.
yeah, because I definitely we'll see for the future and stuff. Because I personally do plan on going to EDC camping again. I think
For
that
sure.
I want to relate the two experiences and see like how they differ from each other. I will say that I think that maybe our experience was a little different than other people's.
Mhm.
But I also think that our experiences are also due to the fact like maybe we're providing that energy,
Mhm.
so if you provide positive energy, you're going to get positive energy back.
Agreed.
And once you let that negativity get to you, it's just a spiral after that. You're just going to spiral
Mhm.
into a really dark place and everything's going to be bad. I think a lot of things that people were complaining about was, it was like, you can make a positive situation of it. It's bearable. Listen, I know you were expecting like a bouge. I was expecting the glamp. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that. I was expecting, and I was bragging about the AC, just like, I felt like an ass, tell people like, okay, I'm sorry, there's no AC. It's not on me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but the AC was manageable for us. As long as you spent it in the pool, the shaded areas, go outside. So I will
Mhm.
say that the only reason I think that the AC was manageable for me was because
Mhm.
I actually left early every day from the festival. So I was asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning every night,
Mm,
which gave me about 6 hours of sleep before the sun really heated up my tent, and then I really couldn't
nice.
be inside anymore.
Yeah, that's really
Um,
good.
so I
Yeah.
maybe that's what it was. I wasn't gonna sleep in sweat. I'll tell you that. I mean, I love to, but I would rather sleep in sweat than sleep in like ice. I'll tell you that.
Freezing cold. Yeah, I'm the same
Yeah.
way as you. Ooh, let's talk
So
about positive things though, because there's so many positive. There's like a million and one positive things
we're gonna
too.
get to those, Emma.
I know, I
Okay.
feel bad. Everyone's like shitting on it. I'm like, I would take the camp EDC. And again, I was a strip girl. I did a strip 5 times. I fucking love Vegas and I did miss
Same.
it a little. But after the camping experience, like 100% will camp every time
Sa-
after this.
Honestly, same, right?
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat. Even going through what we went through, I still think I literally had one of the best times of my life. Um,
same.
and I'm a shuttle guy as well. I was there for the first shuttle they had at EDC. And let me
Yeah.
tell you about my shuttle experience, because all the shuttles broke down. And
Of course. Yep.
I was outside in the sun waiting for the shuttle till 11 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't let it ruin my night. I literally, I
Hmm.
was okay. I let it ruin like my moment then because I was so
Yeah.
hot and miserable and thirsty.
Hmm.
But Insomnia was handing out free waters, and I was with like my ex fiance at the time, and
Hmm.
she was just like, "Get me home." I'm like, "Okay, I don't have that kind of power. Like, I'm just
Right. I
one
can't do
guy."
anything.
We got home about like 12 o'clock, and everyone was getting ready for the festival. We were just arriving. I'm like, dude.
Oh my God.
So I was there. I've been through some of the bad stuff that Insomniac has to work through and stuff like that. But I will say I'm going to camp again. I had a better
Hmm.
camping experience, but we were going to get to the stories as to why I decided I thought I was going to RV camp, but I'm no longer going to RV camp after all the
Jeez.
stories.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's talk about some positive things. Let's talk about all the like the amenities and all the extracurricular activities they had at camp, because I know that you went to the Ferris wheel, which was badass
Hmm.
that they had a Ferris wheel at camp. And
Yeah.
what is your opinion on all of the like all the stuff they had going on for camping?
Yeah, I loved it. Like honestly, I think there was like an energy at camp that was different. I will say because this was my first camping festival like period, so I've never experienced like what it's like kind of being immersed fully in it with all of
Hmm.
the attendees. So there was just like an energy, like the pool party was popping off all weekend and like it felt like this big reunion and I felt like I got to see so many more friends from online that I haven't seen just simply because we would bump into each other. plus you had like, these 3 major like tent structures. So in one day we got ready in one of them. They had like a whole makeup situation set up. We did goat yoga one day. We did like they had a whole vendor village. I got my hair braided in there. So I felt like all the amenities were really fucking nice. They were all together. There were plenty of options for food and drinks. And then, like I said, the pool parties were all top notch, like really fun. And I thought the pre-party was like the cherry on top of the cake. Like I got so lit at the pre-party, but like the production, the music, the vibes, immaculate. So good.
The pre-party set the mood. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
I was already with some of my other friends and stuff, and I was like, dude, I gotta meet up with Emma and Aid and BB Howell, and like I didn't know Ashley Gauthier was there. She said hi to me, and she looked so different with her braids, and I thought she was somebody else. I was like, oh, and I explained to her the next day that I literally thought she was somebody else, and I was like,
that's so funny.
Do you ever have that issue? Because I have that issue. Maybe like remembering like my friends that I've never met like in person, but I like met them online, and like I have a hard time.
Manny, I had that with you at Imagine.
Oh yeah.
You came up to me at Imagine. I did not know who you were for a second. And then later you came up to me again and I was like, oh my God, you're fucking Frisky Hug. No, yes, that's happened to me.
Dude, that happened to me so much. And I felt so bad. And then like, they'd be like, oh, I'm so-and-so, this and this. And I'm like, okay, for one, I am so toasty right now. I'm so drunk.
Yeah.
And two, like, forgive me, I just really bad with like faces and names and stuff like that. But then I went online, I'm like, oh, dang it, that was her. Oh, shoot.
It's hard.
I wish I met some other, what is his name? Snooch, or Snooch J. He was there at Camp EDC.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. And I was like, dude, I would have loved the picture with him. I wish I could have been there like fanboy, but honestly, I don't remember what he looks like. I just like whenever I like a YouTube, I'm like, I don't know. The pool parties.
I mean, I'll tell you now, like, like even with meeting up with people, there were 3 separate people that I know that I was texting every single day who were camping, and I still did not meet up with them. That's how like crazy busy EDC was, and like how the service was. Like once you're there, any plans just go out the window, and it's like you just never know where you're going to be and when. And we just literally never met up. It's crazy.
Yeah, but we met a lot of people though. So like, if you think about it, it's like, okay, we missed a few, but like, how often does it happen that we meet this many people anyway? So like,
it was insane.
But yeah, the pre-party campsite, I definitely recommend if you're gonna go camping, dude, go to the pre-party. That was literally the mood setter, right? It was all positive vibes. Everyone with their cell phones, you know, John Summit sent nudes. There's no AC. Play some tech house.
We stayed late. I think we saw the beginning of Dom Dalla, who was the last act. I don't even know what time I left, but it was in like probably the 1:30 to 2 range, I would say.
I went to go get you a drink, and I went to 3 different bars, and they had closed early. And I was like, all right, my night ends here. If I'm not drinking, like, I'm done. So I head back to the tent. And like, I wish I would have stayed more, but honestly, I don't regret going to sleep when I did, because like, I just love being up early, taking pictures and like doing things and checking out the stuff. Did you go to the roller skate thing?
I did not, but guys, this man's was fully dressed. Every time I'd be like hungover, like picking the crust out of my eyes, and I'd bump into him in a fully fucking gold outfit. And I would be like, Manny, when did you get ready? Like you're like, I'm ready for the day. You're like, drink beer in hand. What is going on right now?
Dude, I was up probably by 9 o'clock in the morning every day, and like fully showered by like 9:30 and like dressed and ready to go. Amazing. And taking pictures by like 9:45 at like whatever, because I like chose like, okay, this is for day 1, day 2. And then after that I was like, okay, who am I gonna see? I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the RV where it's nice and cool. And then you were literally in front of the RV that I was staying at. Like, that's
so funny.
So I had to always go by you anyways, and I would like see like not you and Aid, but like BB would always be just like,
she's just like,
I know. I go up to her, she's got her sunglasses, she goes, don't perceive me.
She had like, that was the really nice thing too, because we didn't even mention that like BB had a whole group of friends camping as well, and so we were able to connect on the strip and drive in together. So when you go up to the check-in, the lady was like, just give me both of your cards, like, and she put us like right diagonally across from each other. So that was really, really nice. Okay,
I was trying to figure out how to do that, because I'm glad you actually mentioned that, because we want to do that for next year. because we're probably gonna get a little earlier. We're gonna do what you did and maybe get there a little like a day early and stuff like that. Because I think that was super smart what you guys did, because then you guys can kind of coordinate who you're all going together with. I definitely want to do that with friends now. Be like, oh hey, like can we just all group up together and stuff like that? Maybe have like a meetup spot like the festival Finesser did. He had that whole meetup at the Walmart. Let's all go together kind of thing.
Yep.
I think that's what we're gonna do next time. Just sort of like we're all kind of like in the same area, because the walking distance between your tent and my tent was a good mile.
Yeah,
and
it's very far.
I'm like, come on, man, my legs hurt. My legs were, and I think I'm a pretty fit guy. I mean,
yeah. Well, that's the other thing I will say, because Aiden, BB, and I talked about this too. I was like, I just like put myself in other people's shoes, and like I can see from other perspectives how like your weekend can drastically feel different, because we just got so lucky. We were in the first lot closest to the festival entrance, like literally the tent over from the RVs. Like there were people who were, like you said, all the fucking way in the back, nowhere near the entrance. So I was like, we got lucky. We were near the bathrooms. Like if that wasn't your experience, you might have been a little bit more pissed, probably.
Yeah. I will say the good thing about being on the other side of the entire campsite was at the end of the night, when it was time for us to get all our stuff, we were at our breaking point. So what I did is I walked to my car. We drove all the way through staff entrance, and we just parked right in front of our tent.
Nice.
With our car, and we just dumped it all in the car. Like, we're not doing this.
That was
like,
smart.
So luckily our tent was so close to staff entrance, and by the time we got to the staff guy, we're like, hey dude, you're not gonna stop us, we're gonna go, like we're leaving. So the beautiful thing is I didn't have to carry that stuff back, so that's
a good thing.
that was beautiful.
Well, and people don't realize too, this is another thing, this is going to be like a whole Camp EDC episode, but there's so much to talk about because we didn't know. So again, we were closest to the RVs, and there were multiple RV lots. There was one near us and another one. We didn't know this. The RVs had their own like sound camp with a stage parked somewhere. I didn't even see it. They didn't stop playing music the entire day. So like I really did not sleep the whole weekend, because the freaking RVs were playing music like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. It never ended. And I had my earplugs in and I tried to do my best, but
I can sleep through anything, but at some point they turned up the volume. I think it was like day 2. And I was like, no, it was the last. No, yeah, it was the second.
Was it the Mesa, like the after party?
No, it was the party. It was the day before. Somebody, and I don't know if it was. I'm being told it was some dude like in one of our tents that did it. Blasted volume, all crazy. I'm like, there's no way the mess is already having a party. No way. Yeah. And I was like,
this was a lot. I literally heard John Summit and Lee Foss's set, which was Monday morning. I was just like laying there with my eyes open, listening. I'm like, at this point, do I just get up and go to it's like 8 a.m. on Monday? And I'm like, what the fuck?
Dude, it was a vibe though. And I did go to the RV stages, but it was a little too wookie for me. It was all experimental bass. And I was like, I don't like listen to this shit. I mean, I love some experimental bass like at the end of the night, not like at 8 a.m.
Yeah. What'd you think of the bathrooms? We haven't talked about that.
Oh my God. So I had a whole experience with the bathrooms, because I went to every single one that the entire camp had.
Oh, okay.
Gotta test the waters, gotta get the lay of the land when it comes to the porta potties, because the ones I choose which porta potties I'm going to go to, this is like my porta potty area. There was some closest to ours, but there was always a freaking line. So I didn't think those trailer ones were worth it, because you had to wait, at least on our side, you had to wait at least 5 or like 10 minutes. So I went to the porta potty section, like the regular porta potties, and those were disgusting. No way, Jose. They do clean them every day, and they clean them out, whatever. Every day they did that. I'd physically walk by while they were cleaning them. So I know they were clean, but, and even washed it. I think like they pressure washed them inside or some shit. I don't really know. And, but behind those bathrooms were they were like a hybrid between like the trailers and the regular porta potties. So they were like, so they were like little doors you could just open.
And they're flushable.
Yep. It was the GA plus bathrooms that they had inside, but it was like for outside. And those were like the ones I used the entire time. Yeah, I was outside technically taking a shit, but they were clean. They were clean as hell and like flushable.
Were those the ones like right next to the Mesa near the merch?
Yes.
Those were GA plus?
No, those are GA plus restrooms inside of the festival, but they were just regular. Okay. They were just regular restrooms.
Got it. I agree with you. Yeah, no, there were a couple bathrooms that like you figure out which bathrooms you like. Yeah, there were like those type which were like nicer. And I saw people complaining. The biggest things I heard was like dirty bathrooms, the AC, and like not so nice like staff. I didn't have like the dirty bathroom issue. There were
I
a
didn't have it
couple
either.
that were like a little smelly for sure, but like you could clearly tell that they were regularly cleaning them.
Yeah.
And I never had like no toilet
I,
paper. I don't know. I never had an
there
issue.
was a no toilet paper issue, so we had to get like people to let us borrow like their wipes and stuff.
Okay.
So that was, but like you can only control that so many times, right? Because people were stealing like the toilet
Okay.
paper. I know
That's
because
fucked
my
up.
friend did it. Like,
Oh.
I was like, you can't do that, dude. They
Oh
need
my
it.
God.
Like that's
That's so
literally,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
People were stealing it for when they ran out of toilet paper at their restaurant. No, that's not how that works, bro. Can't be doing that. And
Hmm.
then but I never had an issue at those like GA plus ones at the campsites. Like those were always clean, and there was so many that were empty, and like there were some
Hmm.
that were like I don't know why people can't like aim, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like I would open one until I found like the clean one that I was like, all right, this is
Hmm.
like the one I'm gonna use, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um,
Yep.
but overall, I think the restrooms are pretty clean. You're gonna run into shitty restrooms. I mean,
Literally. Yeah.
just keep looking. And if you don't like that, go to another section. It's just
Agreed.
at that point you're letting the vibe kill you, and that's just gonna reflect poorly on you, right? Just keep looking until you find a good one. And
Hmm.
I think that just goes to people like just wanting the first one they open to be clean, or even the first like 10 to be clean. I'm sorry. I
Hmm.
had to open like 20 until I find like the one, you know? Um,
Yeah. And timing is everything because I just keep thinking, I'm like, okay, again, your experience is one thing, but like, let's just say you happen to be a person who like always chose to go to the bathrooms at a busy time or always
yeah.
tried to take, like, again, timing is everything too. Like the way we showered was like at off times. We actually showered twice right when we came back from the festival. So there was no one in the bathrooms.
Yep.
And I don't know. So I never had lines or anything like that.
My buddy did that every single night. He showered at night because there was nobody there.
Hmm.
But there was like this, just the cold. I just don't deal with it, especially if like I'm wet. I just don't like. I don't
Hmm.
know. So I showered in the morning, like, and
Yeah.
I waited 40 minutes. Sometimes it was like
Wow.
people were just doing things in the restroom. I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
my buddy said, and I cannot confirm nor
Oh
deny
God.
that he found a turd on his little drainage area. Yep.
Oh, that's so disgusting. I could tell
So
the third day people were like, I think, whatever, coming down from whatever. And I think people
mhm.
were taking like much longer showers for sure. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I wasn't really like doing anything, so it was really hard for me to like comprehend what was going on in there. I thought they were just like
Yeah.
blowing each other or doing some shit. But come on, guys, like some of us
Oh
just
my
want to go
God.
in and out. And my shower shoes, I threw them in the trash. I am not bringing those home. I don't know what kind of turds I stepped on. Like I'm not bringing that shit back home with me.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
But what about the shower situation for you? I mean, I think you had a pleasant experience with your showers.
Yeah, there's no issue. I mean, the temperature always was okay. There were some that like wasn't like a good stream, like it was shooting out all over the place. But for the most part, I think I body showered twice and I washed my hair one day, and I had no issues.
Your braids, and Aid's braids were immaculate.
Thank you. I
Those
know,
were
Manny made
so,
me feel so good. I'm doing that. I already booked them for EDC Orlando.
dude, they look so good.
Thank you.
Um, let's talk about the pool parties. Those were some pretty dope pool parties. I'm not gonna lie. They were
Hmm.
definitely was vibing to each one of them. Like I was looking at the lineup, I'm like this can't be like the lineup. Like this is just like crazy. Like
Right. Yep. Yep. Oh no, it was iconic. I mean, so I know some people I saw posting like were pissed that there wasn't more bass. So they basically had like house as the pre-party, bass was the pool party Friday, and then it was like house and house on Saturday and Sunday. I'm a huge house and techno fan, so I was like very fucking excited. But to me, I don't know, like house music just gets you like a little bit more pumped unless it's like a bass music festival. I feel like house is a little bit
I
more upbeat
I
and
feel
fun.
house and pool kind of go together, you know?
Right,
You
right.
just
But
like,
it was
it's just I don't know.
wild. Oh my God. Yeah, the one even on Thursday when people were arriving, like that was a good vibe. And then I didn't go Friday because it was the base one. And then Saturday I did and it was fire. It was so fucking good. I saw like LPGOB and Noizu were the two people I saw.
Wax motif was a little hard for me just because I'm really
Mm,
bad with like crowds, and they they were packed. They were completely full. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like I really wanted to see Wax Motif at the pool party, but it's so
Mhm.
packed and I feel uncomfortable. And I'm just like, I'm just gonna go. I kind of just passed
Yeah.
by there and I was like, I'm done. I just can't. People
Yeah.
love that kind of stuff, just being like crowded together. But I'm like, you already know me. I was already ready to go to EDC. I can't get wet. Like,
Yeah. Well, that was the thing I was so upset I missed him and Dombreski because they were both at 4 p.m. and we were already getting ready because we were same as you. Like we did all the opening ceremonies, which we've never done.
mhm.
The other thing I will say that was fucking amazing was just being able to bring your own food and alcohol. Cause like the drinks were not cheap. So to be able to just like quickly run back to my tent and grab 2 White Claws or a beatbox or
Mhm.
something and then come back to the pool and not have to go buy a drink was like
Yep.
so nice.
We
So
ran
nice.
out of drinks. So I went to the stand that was selling a bunch of drinks by cases. They were
Mhm.
only $18 for a whole case. I was
Yeah, and
like,
they were like
bet.
one drink was like $14.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like choose your demons, right? So I just
Yeah.
bought 2 12 packs. And so I think it's funny. Day one, when I decided to go with you guys and that kind of stuff, did you know that we went to the regular entrance?
When did
Day
we really?
one. Yes, we went to the regular entrance. They
Oh,
weren't supposed
whoops.
to check anything for us. No, not like because we already got checked at the entrance for camp.
Uh,
So we actually went around and went to the regular GA entrance.
oh, interesting. Okay. We did
Yeah.
that same entrance all 3 days. Yeah, yeah.
So if you
But
did the up,
they didn't check anything Saturday and Sunday. Like we literally just tapped because we already had like the wristbands put on us.
mhm.
So we just tapped and we did security Saturday and Sunday.
Because there's two sides. There's like the building that separates everything, like the left side and the right side. The right
Mm.
side, we went to the right side the first time,
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and
we
then
did that all three.
you did, and they didn't check you guys. Yeah.
No.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Apparently they told me that that's like for the regular people that come into the shuttles and park, so that
Right, right, right.
they can see the opening entrance.
Got
Um,
it.
did you hear that people were waiting 2 hours to enter the festival because they got dropped off?
No.
Yeah. So apparently,
Oh, jeez.
I was supposed to meet up with some people, but apparently they couldn't get in because they were stuck in line waiting to enter. They got dropped off on the opposite side of the venue,
Mm,
and they didn't know that they had to walk to the other side in order to come in because only Cosmic Meadows was open. So
oh
you
my
can't enter
God.
to the other side. So people that had no idea, there was a lack of communication between like the people who were like at security at that side. They had no idea. All they were
Yeah.
told is you can't enter till 7. Why? They don't know. Um,
Wow. So they were just hanging. Actually, I did see complaints about the shuttles. There's always complaints about shuttles, but two of them, one was like people said that the shuttle drivers literally did not have an address and got lost and were
yep.
driving around forever. That
I
was
saw
one
the same
thing.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, and then the other one, yeah, was they completely missed the opening ceremonies.
Yeah, so they were supposed to be dropped off at the other entrance, so that they
Jeez.
can go see the Cosmic Meadows and go through that area.
Mm.
But I mean, sucks to suck.
It's just so hard because again, I just think about it like even knowing like the behind the scenes at smaller events, like I cannot even imagine the logistics that go into something the size of EDC. It's just so crazy. And they've been doing it for 25 years. And like there's issues every year, like there always will be. Like
Mhm.
hopefully they learn and don't make the same mistakes twice. But I just can't even imagine like all of like putting out fires, like everywhere you go, you're putting out fires.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, the opening ceremonies was great for pictures and stuff like that. And I think I was just really I think I was just kind of over the opening ceremony on day 3, and I was like, oh, I just want to like go in at 7 so I can enjoy the
Mhm.
festival that way, and I kind of want to enjoy the pool party a little more in that whole area. So I just wanted to hang out with my friends. We kind of just stayed at the RVs, and we just kind of like took shots, and we just got drunk at the RV, and
Mhm.
we all went in at 7 to go see our favorite artists. And I wanted to hang out with some of my friends during that time. And if since they weren't leaving until 7, I didn't want to leave until 7. I was trying to make sure I spent enough quality time with as many people as I could in many groups.
Mhm.
um, let's talk about your meetups and just the meetups in general. What was your opinion on just these massive meetups, honestly?
It was so crazy. It was so nice. Like I knew it would be crazy because like 2019 kind of like surpassed my expectations and our
Mhm.
community's like grown so much. But yeah, I did the Rave Culture Cast meetup Friday and it was like overwhelming. It was just overwhelming how many people were there. Like I just remember standing in the middle of a circle and doing like a spin and there were just people everywhere. But it's just overwhelming to hear like the stories and things like that because people like watch you and like they know you so well and then to hear their stories and like how it helped them and things like that, like I'm just an emotional person, so it's like
Oh,
It's so much to hear, but people were amazing. Like the candy they brought, or like the time
yeah.
they spent making perlers and stuff like that. Like I have everything. I'm gonna try and display it like in my room. So it was just like fucking incredible. And to see so many faces of people from online. Like there were some of my coaching clients I've worked with for weeks. Like I would turn around and just see one standing there and I'd be like, oh my God, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
that's
Yeah.
badass.
And it was amazing. And Lunchbox on Saturday was like the biggest meetup we've ever had. Like I could not believe how many lunchboxes were there. It was fucking insane. It was
I
nuts.
know. I went to every single one of those meetups, and I was just like, I will say that I wish that maybe like EDC started a little earlier, because like I think a little
Mhm.
sunlight would be nice. I can kind of like see better, because
See, yeah.
I was gone. So like people
Yeah.
were just like, even people coming up to me just like telling me that they know me, this and this, and I was like, I'm like, it's great to put like the picture, like afterwards I put like the face to the name and stuff, because like during,
Hmm.
no idea.
Right. It's hard. But yeah, no, it was
Yeah,
amazing. Even Rolita Couture's meetup, like I finally met Rosa, and I was like, the people who showed up to that could not have looked like more beautiful and glamorous. Like it was amazing. It was so cool to see so many people.
yeah, we had a Radiate, I Heart Raves one, and then Rosa showed up to that one as well, and so did Aqua
Nice.
Zotic, and then all the TikTokers decided they were going to show up to it too. And literally,
Nice.
my whole For You page is just literally at the Radiate meetup, and I was like, wow, man, getting to see so many like the TikTokers and stuff like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like, um, there were some people that were like, oh, I wish I could have met you. I wish I could like we could have linked up. I'm like, dude, I went to 4 meetups. Like, what are you doing with your life?
I know it's so overwhelming. Yeah, it's crazy. I will say like hopefully at Electric Forest, because we're doing a huge like lunchbox group camp for that. It would be nice to do something like during the day at the campgrounds, because I didn't do that. It was my first camp EDC, but in the future
Mhm.
I think I would do like a camp EDC meetup so we could see people like in the day and hang out.
I think it was smart that you didn't do one for Camp EDC this year, because it was
Hmm.
so chaotic and there was so much going on. And
Yeah.
as first timers, I think we were like really trying to get a lot of stuff done.
Hmm.
Like I'm still embarrassed I didn't go to the damn goat. Okay, I didn't go to goat yoga. I was there with you guys, and I didn't get a chance to go because the guy in front of us never moved.
Hmm.
And I'm like, hey bro, like everyone's cutting you off. Like
Yeah.
my friends are already inside. Like so,
Oh, it was
but
chaotic. Honestly, it was a
yeah,
lot.
everybody wanted to go yoga. And
Yeah.
I think I only did the roller skating and I did the Ferris wheel. I enjoyed the tug of war they had. They had like a
Oh,
40
that's so
foot
cool.
tug of war. That was badass. It was like
That's awesome.
20 people per side. And I didn't do any of the spa stuff. I really wanted to do some spa. I want to get a massage or something.
Same. This is what happens at EDC. Even in, I will say, the festival itself, this was the first year, and I'm proud of myself. I did a set at every single fucking stage, which I never do. And we tried to make a point to look at everything, but you will never do everything that they have to
No
offer. There's
way.
just too much. So, yeah, we'll go
That
back. That's why we got to go back.
yeah, 10 years wasn't enough. We needed the 11th,
Yeah,
11th year's the one,
yeah.
because they added, okay, they added so many stuff. And I was like, I wanted to go to downtown EDC, and I did go. But
Hmm.
then I got really like into all the TikTokers that were there with us. I'm like, oh, let's all go to a set together. But I
Hmm.
wanted to actually do karaoke that they had inside. And
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to adventure out and do some other stuff. So day 3, I kind of spent a lot of my time going to the amusement park areas and enjoying some of the smaller stuff. And then like
Hmm.
day 1 and 2, I did want to spend basically the whole day with you, and we went to a lot of like house and techno stuff. And then day 2, I spent a lot of time at circuit grounds. And
Hmm.
this is why. So Verizon is one of the sponsors, and they have their own little like platform, almost like VIP, but
Oh, nice.
only for Verizon customers. So I showed them my app, and I went in to a higher platform. They had tables, free drinks,
What the
and
hell? That's amazing.
yeah, I mean, and I introduced my buddy to it. My buddy spent the entire day at Circuit Grounds because of
Oh
that.
my God. I had no idea.
Yeah, you had your own space. It was like it was a whole VIP area just for you, just like
Wow.
view it. And he goes, "This is like the best spot." So you could see it was an elevated platform where you could see all of the LED screens, and it was so badass. Just seeing his pictures or his videos, I'm like, whoa, like it was pretty cool. So
That's
uh
so cool.
next year
What
if
do you
they
think?
do,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, what do you think of the stage designs this year?
oh man. So let's start with okay. I will say that Forest one was too small. You can't have those big artists playing at those
At
at
the
that
forest.
small at the Forest one.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Circuit Grounds, it's always like a tie for me for like Circuit Grounds and Kinetic Field, but it depends, right? Because like Kinetic Field always wins with the fireworks. They're just always blowing up fireworks every like 5 minutes, right? So like sometimes I'm in the mood to see all those fireworks. But honestly, when it comes to like the production of like lasers and LED screens and like visuals, stuff like that, Circuit Grounds killed it this year. It's so good. That's why I wanted to be farther away. There was like a section you could be like at the rail, but honestly, it doesn't do it justice. You have to be a little farther away to view like all the LED screens.
Yeah.
Neon Garden was pretty badass this year. It was, yeah, I loved it. It was such a vibe.
Oh, everything was so good. I can't. They just continue to step it up every year. And I'm like, what the fuck? How do they keep Neon Garden was the best, in my opinion, was the best they've ever done. Like they finally gave it justice for that type of music, like having it enclosed. So the lights were just bouncing everywhere. And it felt like this dark, like where, oh my God, it was a million times better.
It almost looked like Circuit Grounds used to look at like way back in the days. That's what it felt like to me. Like, oh shoot, this is like the old Circuit Grounds.
Yeah.
And then Cosmic Meadows, I love because I'm just old and tired, and like I went to the bleachers and just enjoyed Cosmic Meadows from afar, and it's so beautiful from far away. Cosmic Meadows definitely one of my top like stages. It's hard to say like your favorite because like they all got their thing going on.
Yeah, I agree though. I'm glad they kept it the same as 29. Like that's one, like if they kept it the same for a couple of years, I would not be mad because it's just so beautiful to look at. And like the lighting they do on it is gorgeous. And yeah, like you've got the grass there. I agree. Cosmic Meadow is like a vibe, but Circuit Grounds for the last like 4 years has always been my favorite stage, and they continue to top themselves.
What about Wasteland and Base Pod? What is your opinion on those?
So I only was at Base Pod on Friday, but I did do 2 sets. So that's like a lot for me on Friday. I was at Base Pod a lot on Friday.
You should have done that for your last day, because your last day just screamed like rhythm.
I know, that's true. That's true. Well, it was the most I was ever like in that. So I thought the volume was great. Like with the visuals, I actually really liked Base Pod. Wasteland just gets like a hard time. It's been the same design for 4 years now. Like I thought they would update it this year, but then again, like maybe because of the Panini, they didn't have the funds. I don't know. I did enjoy the set I went to because it was like a happy hardcore set. So it's a little bit more upbeat. It was Tweakacore.
Yeah.
So I did actually enjoy it. It was pretty empty. So I was like,
Really?
okay. Yeah. It was like half empty when I went. I was like, okay, maybe the people are elsewhere. I don't really know. But the Nomad's Land area, we didn't get to be in there too much, but that was like right over near Wasteland. That looked really, really cool. I just liked that they gave, like, this was the most they've ever used of the raceway. And you could tell like each of the art installation sections were like packed with so much shit. It was really, really cool. The whole like Pixel Forest section was sick. I loved that.
Yeah. It's funny. I spent a different time at EDC than I did. I think at 2018 was my last one. And I spent a lot of time at like the Carnival Square. I went to Carnival Square once to use the bathroom, and I'm usually like tied in there because they have a lot of good food and a little rest area and stuff. I spent a lot of time there, and like I didn't spend any time there this year. Just so busy going from set to set to set. It was just so much to do. And I was like, so between all the meetups and linking up with friends, I went to Wasteland once, I think, if not once, maybe twice. And it was packed to the brim when I went to Wasteland. So I forgot who I went to go see. It was day 3. Did you hear about Little Texas?
Yes, I saw the pictures. He's nuts.
I DM'd him and I was like, hey man, if you do this, if you play naked, I'm going to like dance to your set naked. And he goes, bet. He's like, I can't wait to see this. And that was the day I lost my GoPro, and
oh my God.
Yeah. It's okay.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was insane. I really liked I actually spent a lot of time at Stereo Bloom too, which is not surprising because all like the house artists were there, and they upgraded it a little. So it was like a similar structure, but they added like all of these like screens on it, and I was like, beautiful. It was a vibe. I loved it.
I think it should have been a little bigger. Because I do remember seeing I remember seeing like it just being packed at some point. So I'm like, whoa, it's like a lot of people here. This party needs to be just slightly bigger.
I think they underestimated some of the Dr. Fresh. This was also the first year I went off on my own twice. I do maybe all 3 days. I never like leave the group, but this time I had my sets I wanted to see, and I was like, peace guys, I will be fine. I'll find you. Don't worry. And I went to Dr. Fresh on my own, and it was packed to the brim at Stereo Bloom for him.
Yeah, for mine was I had to be there for Slander. That was like my I'm not gonna miss or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that was right before like the meetup for Radiate. And I'm like, okay, so all the TikTokers were gonna go to Base Pod. And I was like, fuck, like I really want to go to like Slander. And then Andy is Plurnt. She was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go to Slander. I'm like, can I go? Let's go.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
but she took off after a little bit to go rest somewhere, and then I stayed for the whole set. And then while I was there, I was literally vibing, and I stayed for Alice in Wonderland. Who I did not plan on seeing Alice in Wonderland. I thought she was great. It was a great fireworks section for her set, and I then
awesome.
I had to go see Mark Garrix, and I'm like, all right, I'm by myself, but like my friend groups are texting where they're going, and I'm like, nobody wants to see Martin Garrix right now. So I think they're all like a bass spot or something. Like, I'm gonna go see Martin Garrix, and that's where I bumped into Kandi Diva, and she was like, vibing and stuff like that too. And yeah, so I hung out with her. I'm like, oh, it's really nice to see like a friendly face, because like I'm literally by myself right now.
Yeah, that is the night. Like I will say, like when you go off on the adventures on your own, you kind of like I wasn't nervous. Like you just have like kind of nice moments. So for like Dr. Fresh, I went up to the rail because like you could kind of sneak in on the sides at Stereo Bloom, which was nice. Like it deceivingly looked packed, but it wasn't. And I met a couple subscribers. Don't even remember taking like a Polaroid, but in the morning I like open my lunchbox and I have like a Polaroid photo of me and like two of my subscribers. I was like, oh, this is a nice little treat.
Man,
And then
amazing.
Rave Tina, beautiful soul out of nowhere comes right up to the front next to me to save the day. And she's like, I'm here. I was like, hell yes. So then she saved me.
Man, we're just reminiscing in general is just badass.
Yeah.
I think everything for the most part was great. They added those drones, immaculate.
Insane.
I thought those were I was just fucked up. I thought those were fireworks, and I was like, what the hell, man? How are they doing this? Like,
yeah, it was I hope they keep doing it. It was beautiful. It was so nice.
If they're taking my AC away for that, though,
Fair trade off.
I'm still wondering where the hell my money went. So if my money went to the drones, okay, I get it. But like, can I get my AC back for the next year?
Yeah, it just was, oh my God. And the fireworks every night. Like I actually really enjoyed this year too, because part of our group, like BB and all her friends were first timers. And like that gives me joy. Like I know that sounds weird, but like watching them watch the fireworks for the first time, like gave me so much joy. I was like in tears.
Yes, dude. Like it was crazy. Like my friend told me, like, I asked him, like, because he works at Disneyland, and I'm like, what was better, Disneyland fireworks or these? He goes, oh my God, this doesn't compare. Like, this is amazing. I had a friend who literally started crying in front of me, and he's like, I'm so thankful for you that you introduced me to EDM so I could be a part of this. And he started crying, and then he leaves to go record himself crying. He goes, this is amazing. I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
I'm literally like tearing up talking about, because people don't understand. Like I think like seeing them say like, oh, 100%, like we're coming back every year, like it does that to people. I know other creators who like started their channels. Like I started at all of my channels and everything because of EDC. Like it literally changed everything for me, and it still does it for me. So it's amazing. I don't think people realize like the magnitude of this festival.
My landlord, right? I introduced him into raving and stuff. He never really listened to like EDM, but I was like, hey man, you want to go like a drive-in rave during the panorama? And we went to a drive-in rave, and he goes, okay, this is really cool, and I'm having a great time, but like this isn't what your videos were showing. I'm like, all right, we'll get there. After the panorama, we'll get to like the actual like things and stuff. And then I introduced him to like an actual festival, a little small one. And he's like, oh, this is what you're talking about. And I'm like, yes, this is considered a small festival. He goes, well, it gets better than this. I'm like, oh, young Padawan.
Yeah, little do you know. Actually, I will say after this, because I said this to Aid, like Electric Forest has been like top of my bucket list, like right under EDC now. And it's been pushed back so many years at this point, but I'm even more so excited for that now that I have like, and this even wasn't a real camping festival, like in the woods, but now that I get it, like I love just being able to hang out with your friends all day and just like have a very relaxed attitude about everything. Like you're not in a rush to go anywhere. There's so many activities. Now I'm even more so excited for Electric Forest, because I'm like, that's going to be the best fucking thing ever.
You're doing home base for EDC Orlando, and I will tell you, this gave me home base vibes. And you'll when you start doing home base, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You're like, okay, like it's very similar to that experience, because like it's the same aspect, but instead of a tent, you're at a hotel. But every hotel room is connected. And you can literally open the doors and let your neighbors in. You guys could have shots together. People
That's
are
so
walking.
awesome.
People walking down the hall, slapping bags. There's there's DJs in every hallway, just on the dance floor. You just like the whole hallway is a dance
That's
floor.
awesome.
And then you go outside and there's people literally like with big old speakers playing their stuff. You go to the pool parties and you're gonna see it again. You're like, whoa, there's like a whole vibe. You see all your friends, all your subscribers gonna probably walk up to you again. You're like, oh my God, like, you know, at the
I
pool.
can't wait. I'm so excited I'm
If
actually
you,
really happy we have that after this.
I know it's a good, like, you know, expectation after, like, it's good for our depression.
It's really good for our depression. And there are some similar artists that I didn't see in Vegas. And I'm like, it's okay. Cause like Vintage Culture was very high up on my list and I only saw his back to back. So like, I was just looking at the lineup again. The lineup's stacked for Orlando. So I'm actually like very excited.
Yeah.
To do that.
And I could use something smaller, you know, that was pretty big. And I'm like,
Agreed.
that hurt
But with
me.
still really good vibes, still same EDC feeling. I'm actually curious to see what they do for Orlando now, because I know they switched the circuit ground stage, but like I really like what they did for Neon Garden. And I'm not saying they can put that size of a structure in Orlando, but it would be nice to replace the tent with something similar to what they did.
I think they could. If they have it in the same, are they doing the same?
Pasquale, do it.
I think they could. I think, yeah, I think that Neon Garden could have used more space. I feel like sometimes, I don't know. But
House and techno is growing in popularity.
It really
too.
is.
And I mean, at least Stereo Bloom, we know will be the same design probably in Vegas. So that will be sick, but like it's growing in popularity. So I think they could improve the Neon Garden stage.
I had a great experience. I think the crowd, I don't know, it doesn't bug me when somebody pushes me. I think that like if I get pushed or someone doesn't say excuse me, honestly, I'm vibing so hard. Nobody can ruin this buzz. I mean, I was pretty buzzed. And the only thing that could ruin my buzz if you drop my drink and don't pay me for another one, because $15 for a drink, I'm sorry, you better buy me another one. But there's the but. I drank mostly beatboxes. I already had like the lid on. Like, you really couldn't ruin my buzz, dude.
Beatbox at EDC was a game changer. I was lit like the whole fucking weekend.
I don't know why I get like this though. It's like I started buying people shots. Like, I'm always buying shots. I don't know what it is. I'm just like everybody come through, shots. I'm like, I don't know. I
agree with you though. The crowd was great. I heard people complaining about the crowd too. I didn't have a single issue with anyone. I didn't have any problems.
Their crowd is valid, right? Just as valid as my crowd experience was.
Oh, so yeah, like, totally.
But I had an amazing crowd experience. I don't know. Maybe it's the energy we were putting out. I don't know. Maybe it's where we were standing. Maybe it's the sets we were going to. I don't know.
It could be the sets, because some of the people in my group said at Slander back to back said the sky, the vibes were not great. So it could definitely be the sets, the time of the night. I will say the only thing about like the staffing. And I'm confused about like the vendors at Camp EDC, because I don't know if they're probably like individual vendors, right? For like these companies. I don't think they work for Insomniac. I could be wrong. They were the only people that I thought were like kind of rude. Some of the vendors, like the food vendor people, were like not the nicest.
Festival or the
at Camp EDC.
I will say I kind of agree with you there.
I had a couple people that I was like, they were a little off.
Yeah, I was like standing in line and they were like chit-chatting with somebody, or like some of the people that like knew them. And they're like, hey, like I've been waiting here for like 10 minutes. I'm like, I really just want to get a drink or food. And I was like, so like that kind of like, that irked me a little bit, but you know, obviously it's not going to get to me or whatever. But like, yeah, they were like chit-chatting with some people that they knew, like people knew some of the bartenders, and I'm like, I happen to be behind that line all the time. And I'm like, dude, I'm been waiting like 30 minutes after like sometimes like 10 minutes. And I'm like, the last day I spent 10 minutes behind somebody, or even longer, because I couldn't really understand time at the end of the night, at the end of the weekend when I was just tired. My buddy went to go get food at a different line, had his order, ate his entire food, and I was still behind that one person that has been in front of me the entire time.
Yeah. Like, there were a couple lines that were really bad. Okay. Well, like Eric Prydz obviously is going to go down. Like that truly is going to go. It was one of the like best moments of my life, like point blank period. Like there was something special about it, because I'm a huge Prydz fan. I never miss his EDC sets, but this year in particular, to like have all of like our friends there together and like extended friends. It was one of those things that like we had the lunchbox totem. So specifically for Prydz, because I made it such a big deal, like all these other people started like popping up that we know. And they were like, we wanted to be here with you for this set because we know how much you love him. Like that meant so much. And then I said earlier in the day to Aid, I was like, if this man's plays Opus into the fireworks, I will fucking bury me like right there. And he played Opus into the fireworks. So I was in like
Tears.
hysterics. Yeah. It was just one of the literally best moments of my life. And I would say, we spent a lot of time in Neon Garden. I really enjoyed all the Neon Garden sets, and like Oliver Heldens and Seven Lions are my other favorite artists. So them for sure. Yeah.
Man, yeah. I think I had a blast. I definitely had one of the greatest times, probably at Slander.
Slander was awesome.
Slander was amazing. And then I have really good memories at Zed, at Cosmic Meadows. We just sat in the ground and we just kind of like vibed to Zed.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I will say I think Jaws back-to-back Peekaboo. And I think it's because like I spend it with you guys, and like you guys never go to like bass music. So like being engulfed with you guys at bass, like a bass pod, was actually like a pretty memorable thing. Like I got these house girls like literally jamming to like bass. Like this is amazing.
Yeah, no, there's too much. Like all of them, I didn't even mention Lane 8. Like Lane 8 went into Eric Prydz, and that being on Sunday too. So like to end on that note was like iconic. Actually, Dr. Fresh, when I went off on my own and was like in the front for Dr. Fresh, that was like such a fucking vibe. That was amazing too. Yeah, I could go on and on.
Dude, this podcast could be 3 hours. I mean, you still have your podcast to record, and I was like, we were just talking earlier. I'm like, there's no way even like within mine and your podcast, we still probably won't be able to cover 100% of everything, but
definitely not.
I think we covered everything that I at least wanted to talk about for the most part. So once again, Emma, thank you so much for coming to my podcast. I kind of want to let the audience know where they can find you. Not that they probably already know. I'm sure they already know.
Sure. Yeah, you guys, it's all my name, at Emma Kapotes, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, YouTube, Emma Kapotes, and then Rave Culture Cast comes out every Wednesday. So yeah, I'm gonna do my my episode next week. I'm waiting to fully recover and think. This helped though. This helped me think about things.
Good, because like it gives you like an order, and like definitely check out her podcast because it's gonna be way more in depth than this was. We were just trying to cut it up to like around an hour and stuff, so we were very limited to what we're gonna be talking about. But she's gonna go in depth with like literally every topic that we cover. I'm sure you know. How long do you think?
Good. This was helpful though. I think we talked about a lot.
How long do you think your podcast is going to be? Are you going to do a YouTube video to cover some of it and then just do the podcast, or because I feel you could go 3 hours on this?
Yeah, I think so, because I mean, with podcasts anyway, like I try to keep them to an hour, if not a little over an hour. And then I did decide I'm going to do a separate Camp EDC YouTube video because I got so many questions on Camp EDC and I have so much footage. So I'll do a separate review on that.
All right. And for our listeners out there, this podcast is out every Friday. Every week we have a guest normally. So be on the lookout for that. It's on every platform. We got SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeart Podcasts, and we got Apple Podcasts. And until the next one, guys.
Thank you. Bye.